everyone. I'm Christine Tulley, President and Executive Writing Coach at Defend and Publish, and welcome to episode 68, Final Grading Time versus Writing Time. This episode will be a little bit shorter because we're all at the time crunched point in the semester where many of us are juggling final grading with our own projects that we want to get off our plate before the end of the spring semester. And one of the things that I wanted to start with to think through these ideas is to think about time in a way where we have sort of boxes in our academic life. So you have the teaching box where all the tasks associated with teaching go there. You have the grading box where all the tasks associated with grading go there. And then, of course, we have our research box and our academic reading box and our writing box. And at certain points in the semester, there are more tasks to do in those boxes than other tasks. And if we think about it in that way, once we get to the end of a semester, grading tends to take on more importance than it does during some of the other points in the semesters. This is very class and discipline specific. So for example, you might be regularly reading a lot of student work every single week and grading it. Or some of you may have quizzes set up in your course management system where, yes, things are being graded, but it requires a little bit less effort from you if you're using something that's multiple choice or able to be scored automatically. But at the end of the semester, we kind of, all faculty members, all graduate students who are teaching tend to all have the same grading burden because final grades need to be figured out, and there's also a deadline for this work. So just a couple of points as you're thinking through your grading versus writing time. One of the things that I like to do is to devote a little bit more time to grading in the last few weeks of the semester. So at the time that this is being recorded, I still have 3 weeks left in my spring semester. And that includes the final week where grades are due. And so what I try to do is think about it in terms of time. My writing time is normally around 10 hours a week. That's what I shoot for, to just do 10 hours during the week. And if I do more than that, great. But I try not to do less than that if at all possible. However, I do allow an exception in these last final weeks before the end of the semester. And so what this will look like is I'll start stepping down a little bit from my writing, not giving it up altogether, but stepping down a little bit. And what I mean by that is this. So with 2 weeks or 3 weeks left to go in the semester, I might write only 7 to 8 hours a week and then allow those two extra hours for grading. For many people that have several classes, 2 hours isn't even going to make a dent, and I realize that. But I start slowly, and then I keep decreasing that writing time down to a point where during a finals week, I'm definitely not writing anything. I'm grading the whole time, and many of you are too. So that might be something that, we all have to do, and that's fine. But what I just try to do is do a graduated step down from writing into the grading. And why I try to do that is because many of you, and I know for me, this is something that I try to hang on to, we've worked hard to have our writing habits. And by doing that sort of cold turkey, like I'm not writing a thing next week, I'm grading, that doesn't tend to keep those same great habits ingrained. The other thing is, particularly with the spring semester, that many of us are going into a summer period. So you might have, say, a family vacation, or you might be starting summer teaching, and that's going to take some time to get ramped up. And there's a good shot that maybe you're not going to get back into writing for a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks after that semester ended. And I just kind of know that will happen with me. I have children at home, and with them, ending school and having their own projects and that. So I like the step down approach to it. The other thing that I would recommend doing is that you don't want to just walk away from your writing at the point where you're going to do grading only and not leave notes to yourself or a plan for working towards those projects in the future. So one other thing that I will do before I sort of make that mental shift, hey, next week is finals week, I know I'm not writing anything, is the week before that very last writing session, I will hold back an hour and make as many notes as possible on what I still have left to do. I've mentioned in several times that I use the Asana project management board. I'm in love with that. It's great for my big project that I'm working on right now. I will put a link in the show notes to Asana, but that's a spot where I will capture all that information. So that way, when I'm ready to come back to this project, it's not a whole new learning curve again. And then I can turn towards that grading with a little bit less guilt that I'm leaving all these writing projects behind. I know some people still write during the grading periods of the week. I have not been able to do that successfully with the amount of students I have and my teaching load. But if you're able to do that, I think that's great. I would just have a clear line between, okay, when is it my writing time? When is it my grading time? And work accordingly, rather than try to jump back and forth mentally between those two activities. So hopefully these tips help this week, and I encourage people to jump in Twitter. We're defend_publish on Twitter if you want to check us out there and share some of your own ideas for managing writing and final grading at this point in the semester. And hopefully you'll have some good writing before you ramp down. Happy writing this week.